Let me ask you a primary question. Are you in service or are you in sales? And so this could be if you're a company or you're an association. So what's your primary focus? Is your primary service or is your primary function sales? And I'll follow up with another question with that is, can you serve who you cannot sell? Imagine we're a real estate company right now. We've invested in the top showing systems. We have the top lead generation systems. We have the top line transaction management that's going to help our customers. We have all these great things that are going to be able to serve them, but what's the point of having all these great things to serve them if we cannot sell them? If I'm started off with a new brokerage and I'm the only person in there and I have all these tools and systems and I cannot sell that to my customer, then guess what? I cannot serve that. That's no different from the association. You know, if let's say I have the 80 things that I'm offering value to them, and I have a membership of, let's say, 1,000 members, and only 50 are taking advantage of that, that would represent a 2% conversion rate of people actually taking advantage of the 80 different offerings that we potentially have. And so the question is are we in service or are we in sales? And what we're finding is that only a small fraction of the people that are taking advantage of the specific offerings, they might be doing it for other reasons, or they might be doing it for the business. They've been convinced. But what about the other 98%? Now you could ask questions to say, you know, how many customers do I really have? You know, and you could look at that in terms of saying, well, this could be for a real estate company, this could be the amount of transactions that happen in the market. And you could say, if my market share, let's say I have a 5% market share, what about the other 95%? Why do they choose to do business over with someone else rather than you? Well, 95% of the market is choosing, so then how do you then recapture that lost opportunity? Same thing with an association is, how many members do you have? Well, let's say if we have 1,000 members, I would then ask a question of, well, are they really working members? Do we cater towards the working member, or someone who just was able to apply for a real estate license and get it and join the association? Well, you might cut that number down and say, well, of that, here's another question to ask is, what percent of members are shadow inventory? Shadow inventory, what is that? So if we look in terms of the 1,000 members that we have right now, how many of them have done the following? Logged into the MLS. How many have done one transaction? And I think this is the critical question that we're not really asking, is how, of those 1,000 members, how many of them are actually able to earn a substantial or a decent living compared to, let's say, the average U.S. worker? Well, if that 1,000 now goes down to saying, well, gosh, it's really only 250 members, perhaps our value propositions here should be catered towards the 250, and anything else would be gravy. So are we in service or are we in sales? That's the next question that I would like for you to be able to pose to your leadership team, to the brokers and managers that run your company. Because if we're not able to sell, how can we potentially serve?